Have you ever experienced that heart-pounding moment when everything hangs in the balance, a single piece of evidence that could shatter an empire of injustice? Imagine a packed courtroom, every eye transfixed on a tiny USB drive, its contents poised to rewrite the truth. And before we dive in, let me ask you, where are you watching from? If you believe that truth always conquers corruption, type 1 in the comments. If you feel that power still rules the day, type 2. Here on our channel, we bring you real-life stories of raw courage, unwavering determination, and the relentless pursuit of justice. If you're ready to be inspired by acts of bravery that can transform lives, hit that subscribe button and join our community of dreamers and doers. Every story we share reminds us that, no matter how insurmountable the odds may seem, one determined voice can spark a revolution. On a crisp autumn morning in Riverton County, the stately marble facade of the county courthouse shone under a pale blue sky. The air was cool, carrying with it the scent of fallen leaves and the quiet promise of change. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. Today was no ordinary day in court, it was the day when the very fabric of justice would be put to the ultimate test. In one of the courtroom's many rows, a singular figure sat at the plaintiff's table, Keanu Reeves. Known to millions as a cinematic hero, his presence in that solemn hall was far removed from the glitz of Hollywood. Today, his eyes burned not with the thrill of a movie scene but with a steadfast resolve to defend something deeply personal. Keanu's battle was not for fame or fortune, it was a fight for his sanctuary. In 1995, he had purchased a modest parcel of land in the peaceful town of Mapleton, a haven where nature's beauty reigned and where every gentle breeze, every rustle of leaves, echoed memories of serenity. For decades, he had cared for this land as if it were an extension of his soul, nurturing it, maintaining its clear and inviolate boundaries, and treating it as the precious legacy it was meant to be. But everything changed last year. Evan Turner, a shrewd and ruthless real estate developer with ambitions as towering as the skyscrapers he planned to build, set his sights on that very land. Turner's company, in a bid to fuel his insatiable appetite for expansion, began a relentless campaign of encroachment. They had overstepped every ethical and legal boundary by unlawfully extending construction onto Keanu's property. Despite Keanu's repeated attempts to resolve the matter amicably through letters, phone calls, and formal complaints, his pleas had been met with cold indifference and bureaucratic evasion. It was in that moment of betrayal that Keanu Reeves decided he could no longer stand by. Determined to reclaim what was rightfully his, he chose to fight back, armed not with the glamour of a movie set, but with the unyielding power of truth and the strength of his convictions. As the heavy wooden doors swung open, a murmur of anticipation swept through the room. The courtroom itself was a testament to the passage of time, high ceilings adorned with intricate moldings, walls lined with dark wood panels polished by years of use, and the soft, reassuring tick of an ancient clock. In this hallowed hall, every whisper, every subtle sound, carried the weight of centuries of justice being served. At the center of it all was Judge Harrison, a dignified man with silver-threaded hair and a commanding presence that left no doubt about his commitment to the law. As he took his seat at the bench, his eyes swept over the room and finally rested on Keanu Reeves. "Mr. Reeves," Judge Harrison began, his voice resonant with authority yet tempered by curiosity, "I understand you have chosen to represent yourself today." Without a trace of hesitation, Keanu replied, "That's right, Your Honor." His voice, calm and measured, cut through the ambient murmurs, drawing the attention of every person in the courtroom. Even Evan Turner's sharply dressed attorney, Samuel Reed, exchanged a skeptical glance with his client, silently questioning whether a celebrated actor could indeed navigate the intricate labyrinth of legal proceedings without counsel. But Keanu was undeterred. With a quiet determination that radiated from every fiber of his being, he began to lay out his case, a case that was not merely about reclaiming property, but about upholding justice in the face of overwhelming corporate might. Keanu's story began in 1995, when he first acquired his land in Mapleton, a serene patch of earth that quickly became his refuge from the chaotic demands of the world. The property, defined by clear and immutable boundaries, was his haven, a place where the gentle sound of a babbling brook, the rustle of mature trees, and the subtle fragrance of fresh earth combined to create a symphony of natural beauty. For years, he had maintained the land with utmost care. Every line on the official documents was respected, every boundary was honored. Taxes were paid diligently, and the land was nurtured with the same passion as one would tend to a family heirloom. The serenity of Mapleton was not just a matter of physical beauty, it was a sanctuary where Keanu found solace, inspiration, and a deep connection to the rhythm of nature. However, the tranquility of this sanctuary was shattered when Evan Turner's company launched its aggressive expansion. With the roar of heavy machinery and the clamor of construction, the once peaceful landscape was transformed into a battleground. Unbeknownst to Keanu at first, Turner's team began to encroach upon his land, an insidious invasion that would soon escalate into a full-blown legal battle. Turner's actions were deliberate. Instead of negotiating or respecting established boundaries, his company made unauthorized modifications to the land's demarcations, effectively redrawing the map in a way that favored their development plans. Despite Keanu's numerous attempts to halt the construction and restore order, his warnings had fallen on deaf ears. The encroachment continued unabated, each bulldozer's rumble echoing the sound of a promise being broken. It was a violation of not only legal rights but of trust, a trust that the sanctity of one's own property, painstakingly acquired and maintained, would be respected by society. And so, with the weight of betrayal heavy on his shoulders, Keanu chose to take his fight to the courtroom, determined to restore justice not just for himself, but for everyone who believed in the inviolability of their own personal sanctuaries. The turning point in the trial came when Keanu presented his meticulously compiled portfolio of evidence, a collection of documents and images that told a story of deliberate intrusion and systematic injustice. He began by unfurling a series of high-resolution aerial photographs. The first set of images depicted his land as it had existed for decades, lush, unspoiled, and bordered by clear, unambiguous markers. Every tree, every stream, every contour of the land was captured in vivid detail, serving as a visual testament to its natural beauty and its rightful boundaries. Then came the stark contrast, a second set of photographs that laid bare the extent of the encroachment. These images showed the land marred by the aggressive intrusion of construction equipment, with massive structures rising where once there was only nature. The photographs were not merely pictures, they were irrefutable evidence, a silent narrative of a betrayal that could not be ignored. Keanu's voice, steady and resolute, filled the courtroom as he explained, "In 1995, I acquired this land with a clear understanding of its boundaries. For years, I have nurtured it and maintained it in accordance with the law. But last year, without my consent, Mr. Turner's company altered those boundaries, transforming my sanctuary into a construction site." The courtroom was silent, each word hanging in the air like a challenge to the forces of unchecked ambition. Alongside the photographs, Keanu introduced a series of digital correspondences, emails and letters that traced his repeated attempts to resolve the issue amicably. Every message was time-stamped and unequivocal, a record of his persistent efforts to warn Turner's company of their overreach. Yet, each plea had been met with either silence or dismissive responses. Then, with deliberate calm, Keanu revealed the final piece of his evidence, a small USB drive. "This drive," he said softly, "contains two sets of blueprints. One is the official, legally binding document that outlines my property's true boundaries. The other is a tampered version, altered to push those boundaries in favor of Mr. Turner's company." A collective gasp rippled through the courtroom. The significance of that single USB drive was profound. It was not just a piece of digital storage, it was a repository of truth, a truth that could no longer be denied. Even Samuel Reed's confident smirk faltered as the weight of the evidence began to sink in. The tension in the courtroom reached its zenith when Evan Turner was called to the stand. Dressed in a sharply tailored suit that seemed to exude confidence, Turner attempted to maintain his composure under the relentless scrutiny of Keanu's questions. But even the most practiced facade can crumble when confronted with the unyielding force of truth. "Mr. Turner," Keanu began, his tone both calm and insistent, did you receive my cease and desist letter sent several months ago?" For a heartbeat, Turner's eyes betrayed a flicker of uncertainty before he responded, "Yes." Keanu's next question was even more piercing, "And after receiving that letter, did your company halt all construction activities?" The silence that followed was profound, an almost tangible pause as everyone in the room braced for the answer. Then, with a heavy sigh that resonated like the tolling of a bell, Turner finally admitted, "No." That single admission was the fulcrum upon which the entire trial pivoted. In that moment, the carefully constructed edifice of denial began to crumble. The courtroom, once filled with murmurs of skepticism, now pulsed with the unmistakable rhythm of justice gaining ground. To further dismantle the defense, Keanu introduced his final witness, Timothy Cole, a construction foreman whose own conscience had become too heavy to bear the burden of complicity. Timothy's eyes, clouded with regret yet shining with determination, met those of everyone in the courtroom as he took the stand. "I have seen firsthand that the blueprints used for the construction did not match the original plans," Timothy confessed, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and resolve. "There were deliberate modifications, subtle alterations meant to shift the boundary lines in favor of the new development." With deliberate precision, Timothy produced a small USB drive from his pocket, the very same type of evidence Keanu had presented earlier. "This drive contains both sets of blueprints," he explained. "One set is the official document, and the other is the altered version used to justify the encroachment." The courtroom was stunned into silence. Every eye was fixed on Timothy as his testimony, laden with undeniable evidence, resonated through the hall. Even Samuel Reed's previously assured demeanor gave way to a dawning realization that the scales of justice were finally tipping in favor of truth. Judge Harrison's gavel struck the bench with a resounding thud, signaling a brief recess as the jury absorbed the gravity of the revelations. For those few moments, the courtroom seemed suspended in time, a collective breath held in anticipation of what was to come next. When the courtroom reconvened, the atmosphere had transformed. The jurors, whose faces now bore expressions of solemn determination, had returned with a decision that would forever alter the course of the trial. Every heart in the room beat in unison with the hope that justice, long delayed, was finally within reach. The foreman of the jury stood, his voice steady yet imbued with an undeniable conviction. "We find in favor of Mr. Reeves," he announced. Those words, simple yet powerful, echoed through the courtroom like the triumphant toll of a victory bell. In that single, decisive moment, the scales of justice tipped irrevocably in favor of truth. A wave of relief swept over the room, not the boisterous relief of celebration, but a deep, transformative calm that spoke of a long-awaited vindication. Keanu Reeves, who had stood alone against the might of corporate power, allowed himself a quiet nod of acknowledgement. This victory was not just his own, it was a triumph for every individual who had ever dared to stand up against injustice. Outside the courthouse, the atmosphere was electric. Reporters, cameras, and microphones converged on the scene, eager to capture the moment of victory. Amid the flashbulbs and probing questions, Keanu's measured tone resonated with a truth that reached far beyond the courtroom walls. "Today's victory isn't about celebrity or media spectacle," he told the press, adjusting his jacket with a quiet dignity. "It's about the unyielding power of truth and the courage to stand up against injustice, even when the odds are overwhelmingly stacked against you." As dusk settled over Mapleton and the soft glow of streetlights replaced the harsh fluorescence of the courtroom, the story of that historic trial began to ripple outward. In coffee shops, living rooms, and online forums across America, people discussed the events of the day with a fervor that spoke to its universal significance. Keanu Reeves' unwavering stand was more than a personal legal victory, it was a beacon of hope, a living testament to the idea that one person's determination can challenge even the most entrenched powers. His battle had been fought not with the glitz of Hollywood, but with the raw, unfiltered force of truth and integrity. For many, it was a reminder that no matter how isolated one might feel in the face of overwhelming odds, every act of courage has the potential to spark monumental change. In neighborhoods across the country, individuals began to reflect on their own battles against injustice. Conversations turned from resignation to resolve, from quiet acceptance to active defiance. Keanu's trial became a symbol, a call to arms for anyone who had ever felt powerless, a reminder that every voice matters and that each of us holds the power to make a difference. For Keanu Reeves, the courtroom battle was not merely about reclaiming a piece of land. It was a statement, a rallying cry that echoed far beyond the confines of a single trial. It was about standing up for what is right, even when the forces arrayed against you seem insurmountable. It was about the enduring truth that integrity and courage are the true measures of strength. As you reflect on this extraordinary journey, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what would you do if faced with an injustice that threatened everything you held dear? Have you ever found yourself at a crossroads, forced to choose between the silence of complacency and the roar of righteous defiance? Let Keanu Reeves' story serve as a powerful reminder that every act of courage, no matter how small, has the potential to change the world. In the quiet moments of your day, when the noise of everyday life threatens to drown out the call for justice, remember that your voice is a force to be reckoned with. Just as one man's determination transformed a courtroom into a battleground for truth, your own brave actions can set off a chain reaction that reverberates far beyond your immediate surroundings. Every time you stand up for what is right, whether by speaking out in support of a friend, advocating for a cause, or simply refusing to accept the status quo, you contribute to a legacy of integrity and hope. The story of this trial is a testament to the fact that true power lies not in wealth or influence, but in the strength of our convictions and the courage to act on them. The saga of that fateful day in Riverton County transcends the confines of a mere courtroom drama. It stands as a living, breathing testament to the fact that the power to effect change dwells within each and every one of us. Keanu Reeves' battle was not solely about reclaiming property rights, it was an unequivocal stand against the tide of corruption and a bold declaration that truth, however long it might be suppressed, will ultimately shine forth and prevail. His courage on that day serves as a rallying cry, a vivid reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, one resolute voice can tip the scales of justice. In the echoes of that historic trial, we find a beacon of hope that illuminates our own struggles. Every challenge you face is an opportunity, a chance to grow, to transform, and to carve out your own legacy of resilience. When adversity knocks at your door, let it be the catalyst that propels you forward. Embrace your challenges with the same unwavering determination that Keanu exhibited in the courtroom. Each moment of courage, every act of defiance against injustice, not only transforms your own life but also weaves together the fabric of a community that is stronger, bolder, and more united. The ripples created by your bravery extend far beyond the boundaries of your immediate world, paving the way for a future that is just and equitable for all. Remember that you are never truly alone in your fight. The spirit of courage that inspired Keanu Reeves is mirrored in the hearts of countless individuals who dare to speak out and act with integrity. Whether you're challenging a personal injustice or standing up against systemic wrongs, your voice has the power to inspire and mobilize those around you. Each act of moral fortitude creates ripples, connecting you with others who believe in a better tomorrow. This shared determination and collective resilience form the bedrock of communities capable of overcoming even the most daunting challenges. As you carry the lessons of this story with you, let it serve as a constant source of inspiration and strength. Picture the courtroom that day, the determined expression, the weight of truth that filled every corner of that historic moment. Let that image remind you that every time you stand up for what is right, you contribute to an enduring legacy of courage, a legacy that not only transforms your life but also ignites change in the hearts of others. Your commitment to justice, integrity, and truth is a light that can guide not just your own journey but also lead others out of the shadows of oppression and despair. In the grand tapestry of life, every thread of courage adds depth and vibrancy to our collective story. Just as Keanu Reeves stood tall and transformed skepticism into awe, so too can you turn your own trials into triumphs. Embrace your inner strength, trust in the power of your convictions, and know that your actions matter. Together, we can create a future where every act of bravery builds a bridge to a more just, compassionate, and resilient world. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of truth, resilience, and triumph. If Keanu Reeves' steadfast commitment to justice has stirred something deep within you, let it be the catalyst for your own acts of courage. Share this story with those who believe that integrity can triumph over might, and let its message resonate far and wide. As you close this chapter and continue on your own journey, remember, every act of bravery builds a better tomorrow. Your voice matters, your actions count, and the fight for justice is a shared responsibility. Stand up, speak out, and never let fear silence the truth that burns within you. This is Motivation for Success, reminding you that the path to a brighter future is paved with moments of courage, unwavering integrity, and the collective strength of every individual who dares to stand up for what is right. Stay inspired, remain bold, and keep moving forward, because every single step you take in the pursuit of truth makes the world a better place. Now that you've witnessed this incredible journey, a testament to the power of one determined voice, take a moment to reflect. When faced with injustice, how do you find the strength to speak up? Have you ever been at a crossroads where the only way forward was to stand up for what is right? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you believe in the unstoppable power of truth, type 1. If you feel that the battle for justice remains an uphill fight, type 2. Your engagement fuels this community and inspires others to join the fight for a better, fairer world. In the quiet moments after the courthouse doors closed and the echoes of that historic trial faded into memory, one truth remained clear: the battle for justice is never fought in vain. Keanu Reeves' story is a timeless reminder that the courage to stand up against wrong is a beacon of hope for all who believe in a fair and just society. Every day, as you navigate your own path and face your own challenges, remember that even the smallest act of defiance against injustice can light the spark of change. Let this story serve as a call to action, a reminder that your courage, your voice, and your actions have the power to shape the future. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Your story is just beginning, and together, we can build a legacy of resilience, hope, and unwavering integrity. Until next time, keep fighting for what is right, keep believing in your power, and never forget that every act of courage brings us one step closer to a brighter tomorrow. This is Motivation for Success, signing off for now. Stay inspired, remain courageous, and always remember that your voice matters. Let the story of today remind you that every challenge is an opportunity for greatness, and that the power to change the world lies within each of us.